Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we will be reviewing Dr. Octopus. But before we jump into that, guys, I want to give you guys some announcements. If you want to check out the past VODs, they will be up on Twitch basically forever, so you can hop on over there. Even if you can't make it for the live streams or your internet is not good, you can always see the archived videos and enjoy all of the madness post-hype with the chat live, which is awesome. In addition to that, guys, we will be tier 2ing another character in tomorrow's live stream, which starts 9 hours from the drop of this video, and another tier 2 character again 24 hours from that live stream. So the next 2 consecutive live streams we will have tier 2s. One will be chat chosen, one will be of my own personal choosing. So I do encourage you guys, if you haven't already, jump on over to Twitch, make an account, follow me, and you can check out all of those highlights either as they happen or afterwards if you can't make it for the live streams. In addition, guys, we are doing chat co-op. So I'm jumping online with you guys, letting you add me online so we can play co-op together. It's a lot of fun and I'm really having a blast, and the more that of you guys that we can see there, the better. So that's all I have to say about that, but I still have a lot to say about this guy. Why did I tier 2 Dr. Octopus? Full disclosure, before I get into the actual review of the character, this is not the new meta. There is no kind of game changing or, discovery that I made that's going to turn everything on its head. This is mostly for fun, but he is a decent character, more so than I think a lot of people think, especially without his uniform. So what are the pros of Dr. Octopus? Well, for starters, he does have the versatility of 2 different tier 2s and 2 very different playstyles, whether you have his uniform or not. So you do have a lot of flexibility, and you almost get the equivalent of 2 tier 2s for the price of 1, kind of like Green Goblin. In addition to that, without his uniform, his 5th skill is extremely powerful. He has a guard hit for 8 hits, and it has a full iframe effect. So this skill is amazing in a lot of PvP situations. You freeze the opponent because they're waiting for your iframe, and then at the end of it you get a guard for 8 hits. It's also fantastic in Shadowlands, and it makes one-on-one battles very favorable for Dr. Octopus. He of course looks very ridiculous, and his movement speed is brutal. In addition, I would say that his damage output is not super impressive. I cleared World Boss, and the time was not so great for a tier 2 character. However, he didn't have any damage leadership, very few damage urus, but that's probably going to be his big weakness, is the damage. But his survivability seems very strong, and his tier 2 passive does give him 30% dodge ignore. So that will be very useful on Shadowland stages where singular bosses like Rocket Raccoon or Iron Fist have those high dodge rates, or against the spiders in a rumble. But jumping into his gears, guys, he's got physical attack and attack speed on the first, which is not bad. Physical defense and movement speed, which is quite terrible on the second gear. HP, which is perfect because his leadership combines with that to give him a massive HP pool. Crit rate is okay, and then ignore defense is very good. However, having maxed out his stats, I still find that he needs a lot of help in both skill cooldown and ignore defense. I was unable to cap either of them with just his gears, so I needed to use Uru. As you can see here, we do have some skill cooldown and ignore defense Urus already there. Although they are low starred, only 1 and 2 star, it was to fill in the gaps because he wasn't getting enough from his gears, so keep that in mind. As far as an obelisk goes for Dr. Octopus, it definitely depends on what you're going to be using him for, whether with or without the uniform. So I'll try to give you guys advice on both. Without the uniform, I think it's good to go with something that's going to beef up his defenses. So either all defense or max HP is a good option. And then I think either a damage proc if you want to use him in PvE, or more in my direction, a invincibility shield in PvP. I think he has some potential to be a pretty strong PvP character, especially with the flexibility given his uniform. Now, when you equip his uniform, he does have a damage proc when he dodges, which is pretty cool as part of his tier 2 passive, but he only has guaranteed dodge 20% of the time, and he has a lot of iframes. So the iframes kind of work to counteract his tier 2 and make it a bit clunky. If you're going to play with him manually, I think you can avoid using his iframes to try to trigger that proc, and you could end up using an invincibility obelisk as well, so you can have the same one. But I think a more reliable setup that could really bump up the damage for the superior Spider-Man version is to go with a damage proc on his obelisk as well, and have potentially 2 triggerable passives, because they don't stack, but you can trigger them at different times to get both effects on 2 different skills, which is fantastic. As far as the ISO 8 set goes, you definitely want to go with an offensive set to cover up the low damage that he experiences both with and without his uniform. Overdrive is probably the ideal set because it gives you both crit rate and crit damage and ignore defense, but as we know, it's notoriously difficult to roll this set, so you can settle for something like Hawk's Eye because, as I mentioned, he does lack skill cooldown on his gear. He doesn't have any skill cooldown natively, so Hawk's Eye is another awesome choice. Power of Anger Hulk is probably the weakest one because despite it having attack speed, it's not going to help Dr. Octopus as much as other characters. A lot of his animations are very short, and the ones that are long, they don't necessarily need to be long because they're iframes and you don't want to, you know, speed them up. So it's not necessary to max out his attack speed. As far as his skill goes, the only two that you really want to max out are his 3rd and 5th skills with and without the uniform. So with the uniform, Spiderlings will get a boost in damage if you upgrade it, so you definitely want to do that to get to level 6. And then without his uniform, his 5th skill, which does change, will get more guard hits when you upgrade it. So you definitely want to put gold and invest gold into those two. Tentacle block is not as useful, but I guess it's the 3rd skill regardless, so you get an extra bump on your physical defense. Now, as far as where you can get Dr. Octopus's bios, he has 30 per day that you can farm from pretty easy story missions, so you can start developing him quite early on. He also has the added benefit of being a combat supervillain or a combat hero if you equip his uniform. However, don't get excited. He is not a good option for Extreme Alliance Battle either as the combat supervillain day or the combat hero day. His attacks just don't have enough AoE to deal with the mobs, and they don't have enough damage to score high against the Frost Beast. And although he does have survivability either with the guard hits and the iframe or with the guaranteed dodge and the iframes, there's just not enough to make up for the fact that his damage is not going to compete with the likes of Carnage, Nebula, Agent Venom, Moon Knight, Iron Fist, and others. But he's still a very fun character to play. He's very flexible, and he basically gives you the price of 2 for 1 as long as you have that uniform. And he's a meme, boys. And there's no greater justification for a tier 2 than for the memes. Now, as far as World Boss goes, I'm going to leave you guys with a clip against Supergiant. Keep in mind, there are no strikers, there are no damage buffs aside from the team-ups with Silk and Spider-Man, but he does a reasonably good job. The thing I want you to focus on is the skill rotation. I just rotate through the skills. I'm not paying almost any attention to what Supergiant is doing, and it's just that easy because of how powerful Dr. Octopus is with his reworked 5th skill. I have to give it up to Netmarble. They really gave him a powerhouse last skill. Organic tier 2. He's still slow as fuck. Oh damn, he does the 6 on the team up? Look at Black Bolt just standing there. He's like, what am I supposed to do? I expect an I Am Papaya Man video very soon. I like how he crosses the map. Like no matter how far he goes with the 6th skill, with the 5th skill, he always crosses the map to get back with the jump. He never loses tracking with the jump. It's worse than Iron Man's? No, it's definitely not. His kit is much better than Iron Man's. I'm literally doing nothing. I'm just rotating through his skills. Now the damage is not perfect. He could use a damage obelisk for sure, but and he doesn't need the ignore dodge obviously for Supergiant, but I'm literally just rotating through his skills, and there's no damage. Holy shit, that's a lot of lasers. What the fuck? Those are some Doc Ock lasers right there, dude. That was pretty good. 1 minute and 18 seconds. No damage leadership, only 5% all attack on the team up. In closing, guys, I have had a lot of fun and will continue to do so with characters like Dr. Octopus. I know we have the ultra competitive side of the game where we tier 2 characters because of Extreme Alliance Battle, because of PvP, because of very specific game modes, even the likes of Warwolf and Coulson just as support roles. But there's also the other side of the game where you take characters that you like, characters that you enjoy playing, characters that have cool animations or who look goofy as hell and are kind of overweight, and you tier 2 them just for the hell of it. So this is one of those moments, guys, and I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you join us on Twitch to have even more of those moments, because trust me, they are coming. Anyways, guys, I hope you liked the review, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.